Hi, I'm Robert Shields. I'm a songwriter and member of Finding Albert, and this is the last in a series of songwriting tutorials with Music Plus, in which we'll be looking at structure and production. The role of the modern songwriter is progressively changing in that structure and production is being considered much earlier in the writing process. If you look at the charts today, they are absolutely full of songs where production has been considered very, very early in the process. A great deal of these tracks are now written as they are produced, and you could even argue that lyrics and melody are secondary considerations. Whatever way you look at it, production is now a key aspect of modern songwriting, and young songwriters shouldn't ignore that. When we talk about structure, we talk about how we piece songs together, so moving from verses to bridges, bridges to choruses, how we start songs and how we finish songs, and it too is a really key aspect of songwriting. I want to speak about structure and production in the same tutorial, as I believe that we can share ideas between the two, but first of all let's look at structure in isolation. So when you first write your track, the chances are that you will have different sections that may include a verse, a bridge or middle eight, and a chorus section, and linking these together in a way that can motivate and excite your audience is a really important aspect. A phrase that you might hear a lot in industry circles is "don't bore us, get to the chorus." But I'm not going to encourage you to change your writing style to suit the wants of others. Ultimately, I believe that songwriting is a vehicle for expression, and if you want 2 7-minute guitar solos in your song and you feel it works, then that's absolutely fine. However, be aware of the nature of the music industry when you do that. A song that is over 4 minutes long is highly unlikely to get any kind of major radio play, as is a song that takes more than 30 seconds for the vocal to kick in. Also, songs that go more than 2 minutes without a chorus can be in danger of alienating or even boring your audience. Where possible, try not to be overly indulgent in your writing. Look at it from a very detached point of view. Could your verse be halved in length? Could your chorus kick in slightly sooner? Does your intro have to be as long? It can be worthwhile weighing all this kind of stuff up. A technique that I use an awful lot is to try and trim a song down to the very basic minimum, trying to get it as close to 2 minutes as possible. Whilst it inevitably suffers, it gives you a better idea of exactly what it is you're missing from the rest of the song and the key elements that you want to hang on to. Of course, songs that have an overly predictable nature can be in danger of being a little boring and uninspiring too. And it doesn't take a lot to mix it up. Sometimes just the introduction of a new section or the addition of a couple of bars where there were none before can make all the difference. So when we talk about production, we mean taking the raw song, which is the chords, the lyrics and the melody, and turning it into what we eventually have on the record. Let's consider you've finished writing your song and you're ready to take it into a studio environment. That isn't where songwriting ends. There are still huge elements of songwriting to be continued right throughout that process. Arrangement is simply the organisation of instrumentation on your track. So in a standard pop rock track, that could be your drums, your bass, your guitars, and the different parts that they all play. In an orchestral arrangement, that could be violins, violas, cellos. It really depends on what you're writing. Arrangement is also really where songwriting meets production. The skill in writing the parts, choosing the right parts, and making them fit into your overall mix. A lot of the time, less is more. Taking parts from your mix can conversely make them sound a lot bigger and more powerful once production and mastering has been done. Trying to fit piano, synth, guitars and various other instruments into one mix can be very difficult to do and still make it sound good. However, these parts still need writing. It's much easier to take away later in the process than to add. So don't be afraid of cluttering your writing with lots of different parts. Do be afraid of cluttering your production. At that stage, you have to be fairly brutal in going through the parts that you have and picking the ones that you feel are most important to the track and are going to give you the most room on your finished record. The build of your track is how you see the progression from beginning to end. So for example, does it get louder? Does it get quieter? Busier? Is there a change of pace throughout, etc.? In most cases, the chorus is where you want an increase in intensity. By keeping your verses small, you could then explode into a big chorus, and that's used very, very commonly in modern music. However, you can also have great results going the other way, having really big driving verses that then come down to quite a small chorus. Examples of that might be the Pixies, Where Is My Mind, Muse's Stockholm Syndrome. It's a really cool technique to drop your audience before lifting them back into the verse again. So keep this idea of build in your mind when you're considering your arrangement. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been informative and of some use to you. If you're interested in learning more about production, Music Plus are releasing a series of tutorial videos soon, so keep an eye out for those.